Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to game number 2 between Evil Geniuses and NoTidehunter. This is for the Dreamhack Grand Final Best of 3 series. Game 1, as suggested by this tiny green icon over here, if you can see it, is taken by Evil Geniuses. That means they are one away from being the overall Dreamhack champion. And NoTidehunter have to take 2 games in a row, which, the way that EG was playing last game, honestly, that's the best I've ever seen them play. I don't watch a lot of EG games myself, but Demon was just on fire. Everything was just clicking. Fear winning a solo lane by himself. The supports doing correctly, exactly what they could be doing. And, you know, the game just kind of snowballed out of control from NoTidehunter's hands. And they gotta pull it back. They gotta pull it back. And the first thing I noticed from this pick and ban is that Magnus is not being banned out. A hero that's been banned out constantly throughout this patch, and immediately you see Evil Geniuses snap it up. And the reason that Magnus has been such a powerhouse simply because of the Skewer change. I mean, he received a couple buffs here and there, but Skewer at level 1 giving you 1200 range, that's absolutely insane. We've seen him, you know, on the mid lane backstabbing, skewering from one side of the river to the other side of the river, and also into the tower range. We've seen things like that. And also, because of the long skewer range, it allows him to basically handle the long lane relatively easy. He can walk into EXP range, and on the first side of trouble, or when the enemy team is going on you, you just skewer back out. 1200 range is a lot of range to cover, and if you don't have a blink spell or you don't have some kind of surge or whatnot, you're not going to catch up. So Magnus really showing his sign in the current metagame, and that's just his laning. Of course, in the mid-stage game, he gives you that low cooldown reverse polarity. I do believe it's a 100-second cooldown at max level, which is fairly good. It competes with Chronosphere. It competes with most other lower cooldown spells, not the likes of, you know, Black Hole, not the likes of Ravage. It's a very, very spammable ultimate in that sense. Also in power, it's very, very good combination with some of the other more popular carries such as Sven, such as Tiny, because you're giving them cleave, you're giving them insane DPS output. So Magnus, we don't see him picked too often nowadays, but he is picked up in this particular game. And let's see how NoTidehunter is going to handle that one. Sven and Darkseer is going to be the pickup here. We've seen Sven, we know what he's truly capable of, and a lot of you guys think that Sven is somewhat overpowered, think he's a little bit too strong. Personally, I think he's right where he is. He's a very, very strong contender. Perhaps his cleave is a little bit too powerful, but honestly, I think there's a lot of counters out there. As my phone is going off, I would choose to ignore the phone, although yes, if anybody's wondering, that is the Bacchanal ringtone. But in any case, Sven, yeah, very, very high damage output, but I feel like there's a lot of way to actually counter him. He's a melee carry by nature, so you could kite him all day long. Force Staff, Yule Scepters, these things get very, very good. And things like, you know, there's a lot of skills in a particular game that's good against a BKB Sven. Naga Net comes in mind. A lot of these big AoE ultimates from Evil Genius side. Reverse Polarity, it goes through Sven's BKB. Black Hole goes through it, Vengeful Spirit Swap goes through it, Nake's been seen as a counter, Chronosphere from what we saw last game. So I felt like there's a lot of different ways you could actually take Sven out of the equation. Don't get me wrong, still a potent hero. It's the fact that he could just kind of one-hit KO your entire team. That's a scary dot when you've seen the Sven Darkseer combo. I'm sure you guys seen you know, gifs of that where I believe Evil Geniuses was piloting the Sven, where Fear just swiped, one hit the entire team. It is insane, insane sight. I do believe that is casted by B-balling that particular game, so check that game out if you want to see some crazy action. But yeah, Sven, does that hero require some nerf? Does that hero is just right? What do you guys think on that? I'm curious on where the viewers sound. I personally think he's powerful, but he has answers, and it's up to teams to find those answers. But let's move away from the Sven and talk about Darkseer and Nature's Prophet. Darkseer, I mean, still, in my opinion, the best long lane hero. I think Magnus is trying to, you know, take that away from him. Gondar's been rearing his ugly head, but Darkseer, in my opinion, is still the best long lane hero. Surge is simply too good. The fact that he could not only get CS experience, but also harass against enemies of melee carry with Iron Shell, that's just way too much as a laning spell. And obviously, Vacuum Wall is no joke when it comes to teamfight, especially when you can back it up with other type of AoE and whatnot. Nature's Prophet, their pick here. We don't see Nature's Prophet too much. Still a very, very powerful hero. Give you that early mech if you need to. Give you the late game carry if you need to. Great counter pusher, great pusher, right? Does a lot of stuff. And we often forgot how good Nature Prophet really is a constant +1 in a team fight or a ganking situation. Backdoor, killing towers, killing couriers if it's not upgraded. He just does a lot. And let's see what Nature's Prophet will be doing for NoTidehunter this particular game. We're seeing Vengeful Spirit once again, and this is going to give Evil Geniuses a precursor or a foreshadowing of some strong late game DPS hero, because when you have Magnus in power 50% buff in terms of your damage output, Vengeful Spirit gives you a little bit more buff through her aura as well as her howl. That's a lot of physical DPS potential from Evil Geniuses. You gotta still pick up a physical melee carry, and you can see that NoTidehunter is taking care just of that. Templar Assassin being banned out, Lifestealer being banned out, as well as his Faceless Void. They're saying, well, Evil Geniuses, you got the potential being there. We'll try to ban out as many melee physical carry as possible. Obviously, Magnus does give the 50% damage bonus to range shooter as well, but you don't get the cleave bonus. So melee is the way that you want to go. And we're going to go with Invoker for Evil Geniuses. Now, normally Jo plays a solo mid, although I believe Demon plays a beautiful Invoker. I'm pretty sure Jo could handle Invoker, although I haven't seen him play too much of that. So my curiosity goes out there. Who is going to be playing Invoker? How the laning situation will be? We'll have to perhaps wait and see. By the way, Melk played a very decent Enigma last particular game. And of course, in the previous pick and ban draft, I talked about how Enigma is also very versatile in his own right. Often thought as a big black hole, and that's what he's really known for. But a lot of versatility in terms of the utility gives you with a blink mech combo as a healing, the pushing gives you with the Eidolon, the ganking he gives you with the Malefice. So he does a lot of things in his own right. Leshrac being picked up here for NoTidehunter. So a lot of early pushing power coming out from NoTide, and these towers going to get knocked down. And I'm somewhat very, very scared for Evil Geniuses. They have some very powerful mid-game team fight. The Black Hole is there, the Reverse is there, the initiation from the swaps there. Invoker is just an AoE machine. The question is, what are you going to do against the level 2 push? I don't see it. I don't really see any kind of level 2 push. And there we go. Evil Geniuses will now pick a Juggernaut as their carry. And again, Battle Fury is a thing. Magnus and Power is very much so a thing. And when you are Reverse and when you are Black Hole, Spin by its own right does a lot of damage. So Juggernaut, a fine carry in its own right. Invoker most likely going to be going solo mid, Magnus on the top lane here, Vengeful Spirit Juggernaut on the bot with Enigma backstabbing out of jungle. Fairly strong lanes coming out of Evil Geniuses, but the question remains, what are you going to do against level 2 push when you're facing against 3 Prophet Treants, when you're facing against Diabolic Edict, and of course the threat of a Sven stun and teleport in from Prophet. It's very, very dangerous to have a lineup that's so mid-game focused that your early game is insufficiently weak. And let's see what Evil Geniuses is going to do. And for example, if NoTide, are they going to take advantage of that? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, Eternal Envy, a great captain in his own right, playing with his 4 Swedish friends. And let's see what kind of draft he is really trying to close this one out. I do believe they needed one more support. Leshrac is a fine support. Same thing with Nature's Prophet, although I do believe you want to have a dedicated support. I think Sven's Leshrac is a fine lane. Perhaps they're looking for a solo mid. Darkseer on the long lane, Sven, Leshrac on the safe lane, Nature's Prophet in the jungle. Or, we could see some more of the old school Nature's Prophet on the mid lane. We've seen Miguel piloting that beautifully in the past. I think it's So Soon back in Stars Boba Day. That's a name of the Relic Pass if you guys haven't watched Dota 1. Stars Boba So Soon, one of my favorite players. I'm going to go with Shadow Demon, so a little bit more dedicated support here picked up on the Shadow Demon. So we might see actually Leshrac on the solo mid. In any case, we'll introduce the players as they're picking up the hero. Demon going on the long lane here on Magnus, no surprise there. Jo going mid on Invoker, so this is one of my first times seeing him play the Invoker, and let's see how he's going to be playing that. Most likely Beedus and Melk will be swapping on and off with the Vengeful Spirit and on Enigma, and last but not least, Fear most likely will be playing the Juggernaut. Loda will be handling the carry Sven, playing that carry role. Ammo Bulldog usually on the long lane, usually playing the Syllabear, will be playing on Nature's Prophet in this case. I imagine Darkseer is, well, I don't want to guess. We'll have to wait and see. S4 perhaps still kind of deciding who is going to be going mid. Darkseer is a fine mid candidate if you need him to be, although I think he is going to be on the long lane. This is shaping out to be a very, very interesting draft for S4 on the Darkseer, so he usually is their mid specialist. So I wonder how this is going to go. Also, I've heard a lot of good things about this particular game. I don't know why. Often hailed as one of the best games of the tournament. I'm just gonna hold my breath for this particular game here. Ooh, Smoke of the Sea right from the get-go. Quickly check out in terms of item, no Ring of Poseidon, so this shouldn't be a level 1 Roshan. If you're doing level 1 Roshan, you really need a +2 armor as well as amount of regeneration for that Roshan tactics. But they're going in right now. No skills being picked up here just yet. Disruption is the skill as well. Splitter, and these guys are looking for a big gank. We haven't seen level 1 smoke ganks since a year. I feel like when smoke first came out, it's all the hype to do level 1 smoke gank. And here we go. We do have Admiral Bulldog going into the trees, going into the Roshan spot, and looks like he is already doing the Roshan. He is suiciding. Alright, he is suiciding, and the entire Radiant team is going into the Roshan pit, and the Dire team is pincering from the back lines. No skill being taken on Nature's Prophet, so he does have teleport. And my god, this is a huge ass bait. Melgus now is gonna get first picked up, and where is the stun? Splitter is gonna follow. That's 1 kill. Disruption for the second, and now Beatus in huge a world of trouble. And I can't believe this bait and this high level play is working out perfectly. Admiral Bulldog threw away about 10 gold, about 40 gold to the Roshan suicide, and they got perfect position with this war. Wow, NoTidehunter just pulled a huge quick one on Evil Geniuses, and they are just shaking up. Dude, I would be shaking up as well if that was pulled against me. What kind of play? Whoa, we just suicide to Roshan like this. This is the biggest bait if I've ever seen one. Sentry Ward being dropped down here. I don't think this blocks, but it might as well does. And that's going to shut down Enigma's jungle as well. Trading a death to Roshan for a kill. Yeah, you'll take that trade any day. And this is going to be S4 on the mid lane here. Using that Iron Shot to push. If you guys never seen Darkseer on the mid lane, he could easily handling this mid lane. Usually a very good counter to Templar Assassin. Try that out in your pub game. If you see a Templar on the mid lane, hey, pick a Darkseer and just rail him down very easily. Against Invoker, it's going to be slightly more difficult considering that he's a little bit range, and Cold Snap Harass is no joke. But hey, you know, we'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, it's going to be offensive trialing top against Admiral Bulldog, and Admiral Bulldog in a little bit of trouble here. Eidolon is Enigma's first skill as expected. No points into that Malefice because he's not level 2 just yet, and this is going to be somewhat difficult for Melk to do that backstab, but they do have enough stunning power to really go to town. All they got to oh, Melk is coming right in. I do believe they really just want to pincer him, and here we go. Beatus walking forward. Admiral Bulldog does have that point into teleport, so he can get away, and they just want to transition into a straight push. They want this tower dead immediately, and we do see a teleport back from Admiral Bulldog. He knows there's very little he could do, and most likely he's going to pull a level 1 camp as well, and that's going to really ensure this tower go down in no time. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane here, we did have a huge gank attempt against Jo. Jo in a little bit of trouble as well. S4 now going to do the same thing on the mid lane, cutting off the crew, trying to do this push, and this is exactly what I talked about in terms of the early game pushing power of NoTide, and seems like the Radiant team wants to do the same thing as well. They know that they were not going to outpush. They're really not going to outpush NoTide once this push is going to start up. Ooh, an early glyph here against the Leshrac, and that's probably pretty bad, although Leshrac doesn't have level 2 into his Diabolic Edict just yet, so that might have been the perfect glyph. Meanwhile, we do have some very nice pulling being done here by Admiral Bulldog. Really wants a level 3 access to the second point of Nature's Call to really get that pushing going on. You know, S4 in a little bit of trouble right now, taking a little bit of tower shots as well as a lot of creep focus fire. Got a salva, will be doing so. No, he got bottle first, so bottle first is going to allow him to take all the runes as he's pushing like this. So very good choice of items, especially against Invoker, who doesn't really want to get off the lane to contest your runes. And meanwhile, tier 1 tower has gone down on the top lane right now. A lot of early game action in terms of towers, in terms of kills here and there. And it seems like the push has been successfully defended by Jo just by himself, so very good job in doing so. S4 is going to pick up a Illusion Rune. The question is, will the Radiant team keep on pushing? It seems like the answer is yes, as Spin is clearing up this creep very quickly. Is Vengeful Spirit going into Vengeful Aura? No, it's not. And I do believe you should go into Vengeful Aura instead of going How, by the way, is a completely standard build. But when you're having so many auto attack Eidolons, when you have Juggernauts pulling up creep wave, you just want to give that slight extra damage. And I do believe How in this particular case is the better choice. But regardless, they got a tier 1 tower and they don't really care too much. It's not the biggest deal, so no big deal here and there. Being on the bot lane here, we do see it. Demon perhaps in a little bit of trouble. He does have points into that skewer, and there's a Soul Catcher finding him right now. I don't think Soul Catcher gives you sight. Meanwhile, though, Aki is doing a significant amount of damage to this particular tower, and that's just tier 1. We do see his Warcry being used just for the extra armor bonus to make these creeps a little bit tankier. Meanwhile, back on the top lane here, Fair still going to work. We do see Treants being micro back and forth, perhaps trying to pull the micro here and there, but that was a really nice creep pull, perhaps pulling this camp. Whatever camp they pull, they really stack this huge creep wave, and that's going to provide a lot of tanking for that siege unit. Do they have a Ring of Basilius just yet? I don't see one on any of these guys, so that's going to... Well, they don't really need the +2 armor, just as they don't really need it. There you go, the Vengeful Aura being picked up on level 3, sacrificing that Magic Missile. You don't really need Magic Missile considering that there's really no one to stun, so going into the How is absolutely correct. And there is 2 quick towers being taken by EG storming out of gates in control. I expected NoTide to push a little bit quicker, but I underestimated the pushing power of Juggernaut as well as those Eidolons, and that's exactly what I mean, the agility that Enigma gives you. So NoTidehunter, despite doing some sick baits with the early game shenanigans, well, I mean, there's just very little kind of follow-up here for NoTide. We do see a surge forward. They see Milk. Milk's going to get disrupted. Soul Catcher is going to be on top. And there we go. The Spirit is going to hit perfectly here. Milk is going to give up yet another kill. NoTide is going to pick that one up. S4 got the kill, so very happy for him. He does have 1,000 gold in the bank. That means a quick arcane boost if that's what he's want. He wants a mech as well, although Nature's Prophet is a very fine mech candidate. So yeah, I completely expect the NoTidehunter team to be full control in terms of the early game, and because the Radiant team is doing very well in early, they are going to have a powerful mid game. EMP Tornado here on the Invoker's no joke, Reverse Polarity, Black Hole, and of course a very farm Juggernaut early on is a very powerful mid game carry as well. So EG, in my opinion, they are leading quite a bit. Not just this, 1,500 gold, it's just the game state. Their team is capable of winning the mid game. Their team is very weak in the early game. In fact, they are winning the early game. That's all you could really ask for from the Evil Geniuses team. So they're in a very fine position. You got to keep in mind this is game 2. They are up a game. NoTidehunter's got to do something, and this something is starting with a smoke gank, a very defensive observer which really plays to make sure that they're not getting ganked. And here we go, Eternal Envy perhaps going to receive a surge and they're going to charge forward, but really there's nothing much you could do. A nice D-Ward up on the high ground here, and Sentry Ward will actually spot out the smoke gank if it's coming, but here we go, the Observer will spot this one out as well. Vengeful Spirit is a very juicy target. Disruption, Soul Catcher, Sven Stormbolt is going to come right in. There's a decent Magic Missile, but really easy kills. And they really want Sven to pick that one up, but Sven not really in position. So another smoke gank for a kill, although these are very heavy investment in terms of those kills. That smoke, not only is it 100 gold, it's also a lot of heroes time. That was 4 heroes against 1 in terms of time output, so really not exactly the best kind of ganks here and there, but hey, they're leading in terms of scoreboard. They're really making this goal graph, or they're trying to make this goal graph as it's actually going in the favor of Radiant. Meanwhile, how is Nature's Prophet doing? Nature's Prophet has now gone on the bot lane here. Nature's Call is his choice of skill to prioritize, and again, it's a decent spell to go for, especially when you're not really ganking. You're leaving the ganking mostly to be done by Shadow Demon as well as Darkseer, and he is really just making sure that he is trying to get a tower pushed off. And if you're going for Nature's Call like this, if you ever have a successful gank near the enemy tower, you could just TP right in, summon a couple of trees, and a tower is basically yours. But meanwhile, though, they're giving Demon a lot of farm. You can see that his CS is not too bad for a long lane here. Oh, he's on the safe lane, but he might as well be on a long lane because he's got 3 hero against him for the most of the time. He's got level 6, level 7, excuse me. He's got arcane boots. This is going very well towards his blink dagger. And again, that really just shapes up to EG's powerful mid game. Looks like we do have this Observer being placed down by Vengeful Spirit earlier, and that's going to really stymie any kind of pushing or any type of ganking attempt coming from NoTide. And right now, NoTide is just having a very difficult time. They're picking up kills, but not really doing too much of anything else. They gotta make some kind of big push, kind of big team fights, really take Evil Geniuses off their farming. Because they are just sitting here farming, and they will just continue to out farm. You can just go chart slowly going up. Those 2,000 go reflecting in the go chart right now. Farming is somewhat still very even, but here we go. Invisible Balloon being popped here by Eternal Envy, not under the wards of anybody, so they can actually pick off Invoker if they have another TP. And guess what? Nature's Prophet does have that extra TP. They just need one more person. But here we go. Melk is very thankfully moving into position. In fact, they are the one that wants to put on even more pressure. Meanwhile, Juggernaut on the top lane here, not exactly farming the best. Does have 30 CS though. We do see S4 leading chart with 60 CS, although Darkseer getting farm is not exactly the most important thing. He does use go very well. You know, he does give you things like a quick meg. He does give you things like a quick pipe, which wins team fights. But unfortunately, it's not really a big carry like on your Sven. Sven, by the way, only has 38 CS. Although again, he is been roaming around mostly. We do see a fear, afraid in the Stormhammer will go him with spinning very prematurely. We do see a lot of pulling going on the bot lane here on NoTide as well, and that's going to give him a lot of go for that Sven once the Sven is doing enough cleave damage to bring him down. Sven now working on this tower. Glyph is going to force out. That's going to really drain away a lot of this diabolic damage. We do see the support coming right now. And Demon already have a skewer. He's going to skewer forward for a reverse. He's going to grab anybody. He's going to just grab Loda. That's absolutely fine. You're going to bring him down. You'll take that exchange any day. Again, this ultimate does have a fairly long cooldown at the earlier stages of the game, but once you level up a couple times, it really scales down with 100 second at the highest level. 2-minute cooldown in this particular stage of the game is not too bad, and a free kill here for Fear against Loda, that's all you want. And again, facing elimination here, despite being up by 2 kills, you see that the Radiant team is just playing a lot better. They're just whenever they're going ganks, they're getting these very crucial ganks, and whenever that NoTidehunter is ganking, they're picking off Vengeful Spirits. They're picking off, you know, I think that's all they have picked off. Like Vengeful Spirit, oh, they're picking off Milk a couple of times, and these kills are not really at the same same degree of oh, we do see a little bit of action on the middle here. Tower perhaps gonna get denied. S4 in a little bit of trouble. Tornado, we're not gonna be going on him. Tower, oh, nobody denying the tower. Skewer forward here by Demon. They want S4. S4 still very tanky. They got 1 kill, and Jo is probably the next target to teleport right in. Whereas, oh, nice quick finger here into that Ghost Walk. Really stopping that Sprout. So 1-for-1 trade, a hero kill for a tower kill. I do believe that still went in the favor of the Radiant team, as the tower is going to give them a lot more go. But with Demon dead, they're going to try to bring down this tower. Tower very low. Let's see if Jo is going to go for deny. No deny attempt here. Admiral Bulldog's going to pick that one off. And 2 tower to 3 here. So the Radiant team making the Dire team making a slightly small comeback. Fear on the top lane. 2k go in the bank here. We do see the healing ward being prioritized. Normally you're starting to go into Blade Dance here, as you're starting to pick up a little bit more physical DPS items like the phase boost, like your first Yasha or whatever else. Seems like he is more inclined to make sure that they could sustain their push, and that's what you really want healing wards. Everybody's adding me to my friends. Look at how popular I am. Oh yay, popular guy on the internet, not popular guy in real life. Sad. Jo here on the mid lane, he got the Force Staff finish, and that's really going to allow him to take his friends away from any kind of chases. That's going to be very good if, let's say, somebody's purged off or somebody's focused by Stormhammer, or just, you know, a simple Sprout. That Force Staff is going to be really useful for your teammates. Another Smoke of the Sleep being picked up here by Eternal Envy, and perhaps going to set up a gank here on the mid lane. But again, so very difficult to set up against a Ghost Walking, a Wex, and a Force Staff on the Invoker. Of course, I do want to talk about the new Force Staff here, especially on the Invokers or Woodrunners. In my opinion, it has been, I don't want to call it a buff or nerf. When Force Staff first got changed, I really thought it was buffed because the build up was a lot nicer. But for the most heroes that do get the Force Staff, oh, Milk is going to get picked off here. Milk's going to gang back and forth, but to be honest, you don't really care too much. Again, they're really expending a Smoke of Deceit for a Milk kill, which, by the way, oh, blank reverse, and this is really why you cannot allow him to get farmed. And we do see the Omni Slash being coming as well, skewer towards the enemy jungle, and really that's, well, they got a Milk kill, but that, in exchange, 2 kills on the enemy side as well as the Smoke of Deceit usage. And meanwhile, EG is coming right back for a push. And this early to mid game team fight is really driving a big thorn up on the side of No Tide. You see that the reverse polarity is being used whenever it's off cooldown. The blink dagger is being extremely helpful as well, and they are just not allowing to take on any type of tower. EG just playing on top of their game right now, preventing the tower to be pushed down. And Loda is just not having enough farm. And Sven, in my opinion, is one of those heroes that does very well if you're ahead. If you're behind like this, he is gonna get focused, especially when there's so many ways to go through the BKB. There we go, the offensive disruption, where it's a spitter hits perfectly, and there's a Storm Bolt, and there's a Force Staff trying to bring him out. Not going to be effective. There's a vacuum backwards here. Focus Jail. You want Jail. Vengeful Spirit is going to be dead. EMP draining a lot of people's mana, but all they need is another disruption. No more mana though. Where's the surge forward here from S4. Vacuum pulling off in just about 10 seconds. Jail though taking a lot of damage. Oh, his HP is being drained by so fast. Force Staff upward here, and that's going to be it. Nobody chasing quickly enough, and you don't really want to teleport forward if you are the Nature's Prophet, because Demon is right there. Of course, a very good dive being done here by the Dire Squad. They know that Demon's ultimate is still on cooldown. Blink Dagger or not, really is a different hero without that ultimate. So a very good timing gank here being done by the Dire team, and they're farming all over the enemy jungle. Well done here, taking the resource away from the Radiant squad. They gotta start tackling this big stack camp. That's gonna allow Sven to really catch up in terms of gold. He could easily just pop his God Strength, got a couple of trees to tank for him, and he could mow down this big camp very quickly. But as I say that though, does he have the opportunity to do so? And if this thing is always, if this thing is scoped out, if this thing is sniffed out, then Loda could, be a very low HP, could be taking a lot of damage. Here we go, that's exactly what he's going for. A little bit of pulling action, and Storm gonna pop his ultimate and go right to town. That's gonna be a lot of EXP, a lot of go for everybody, and that's gonna be a good catch up here for Sven. Sven really needs to catch up. As I say that, he's leading in terms of CS in the game. It just doesn't feel like they're winning. They're up by 4 kills. They're doing fine in terms of CS. But it just feels like the Radiant team's in control because they have these black holes, because they have the Blink Dagger already up on Magnus, and big smoke up here. They have the ultimates to go. They just want to pick somebody off and get this tier 2. But nobody is to be picked off as they're doing this big ancient cap. And it looks like they're going to be backing off as they do sense somebody coming. Demon is in position. He will scope out this kind of pulling attempt. Demon still invisible with this rune. And there is a Observer scoping out, Invoker coming on the bot lane. Looks like they want to get a push going on. A very good ward being placed out before the push is coming. Eternity doing his homework, making sure that he is scoping things out. And this ward is so important for a big reason, because when there's the enemy team, when they have big AoE initiators, they like to hang back, especially when the Blink Dagger is up, and then they just blink in and it's gonna go wombo combo all over you. It seems like the tower is low enough, and the Radiant team is gonna just go charge in, get the tower for free. And the question is, are they going to go for a little bit more? In my opinion, they can. They have the AoE team fight to really go for it. They have the mech already finished on Enigma, despite him being very squishy. Effective HP is very high. With Demon's reverse polarity still ready up, they could just slowly siege this one down. You can see Demon just hiding in the woods. And Sven is, well, getting ready to fight. He does have his Black King Bar. Mask Man is not being picked just yet. D-Ward being picked, dropped down here by Eternal Envy again, making sure that you want to... Oh, Blink, reverse, and that's only got one, and that's not exactly what you want. The vacuum, it's got to be dropped. Loda pops his BKB, go to work. Where's the black hole? No black hole just yet. Enigma has gone down. No, Enigma's still alive here. No black hole, and that's the death of him right now. Big chase down where he has Demon, whiffs a huge reverse. And that's going to be a 3-for-0 so far. BKB has been dropped on Loda. They see Fear. Fear does have the TP score up, and he's going to basically wait for that Blade Fury and TP out. Oh no! He didn't actually Blade Fury the stun. I'm not sure it was still on cooldown. It was very close, but that was 4-for-0, and the Roshan this particular time will not be a bait because NoTidehunter will be doing the Roshan for real. Very, very good job here by NoTidehunter recovering. I gotta say though, EG makes some key mistake. Of course, the reverse not getting everybody, that was one mistake, and more importantly, there was no black hole follow-up. Was on cooldown. Oh, it was cancelled. I'm not sure exactly what canceled it. Perhaps it was a vacuum, perhaps it was a Stormhammer, or the case might be Enigma got burst down way too quickly. And here's the issue with these kind of big AoE team fight. The cooldown of that black hole is very, very long, and they really don't want to take another fight without it. Now, the reverse does have a fairly short cooldown, but he can only use this reverse polarity for a gank. You really don't want to take a full-scale team fight just with the reverse polarity alone. You really want the black hole as well. And with that kind of a big change of events here, NoTidehunter has won a big team fight. For nothing, they have defended their tier 2 tower, but not only that, they have taken the Roshan as well. And because they're up by 12, they're up by 8 kills, the gold chart is really climbing downwards. The experience chart won in the favor of the Dire team, and NoTidehunter looking good to stabilize this game, and stabilize they are doing right now. Quick item check. Meg is already up on here on milk. I don't think he popped it, or if he did, the effectiveness of that milk was not really felt. Blink Dagger, of course, was up, and as well as Arcane Boost. How many? What's his goal? Only 700 gold in the bank. Really, these guys are getting a lot of cheap core items, but that's it. They don't really have big items to show for, like that Sven with this BKB, as well as the Mask of Madness finish, really showing the fact that this ancient camp is doing a lot. And well, he's leading in terms of farm. Darkseer does have the mech finish working towards pipe. Imagine once he does have the mech and pipe finish, it's going to be big games. We do see the standard Hand of Midas here on Admiral Bulldog. It's going to be going for a Necromonicon. Necrobook's pretty decent. If you could, if they could pop, it's a decent pushing to it. Gives you a little bit of everything. Not enough of a particular thing, but a little bit of everything. The Mono Burn's decent. If they ever pop the blue minion, they're taking 600 pure damage. And that's decent damage output, but it's just a decent item. I'm not sure if that's the item you want to go for. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of Hex or Cypher Vice. Although, it makes him a little bit tankier. Again, it gives you a little bit of everything. If you can finish it quite early, it's definitely one of my favorite items to go for. There's no invisibility that you're countering, so it's just a very curious item that Admiral Bulldog is going for right now. Acties just have the drums. Both teams have quite a number of drums right now, and that's exactly what you want to see. Both teams extremely want to stay mobile. You don't want to be eating a lot of cleaves. And on the same note, you got to be running away from these reverse as well as black holes. And for the moment, it seems like EG is, again, once their ultimate's down, they want to just farm away, trying to contain the advantage that the Dire team's having. And once their ultimate's back up, they're going to go for a push. And this is where you see Juggernaut start to have a little bit of issue as a carry. I mean, he doesn't carry that hard, at least compared to Sven. Sven's sword is a lot bigger than yours, and that's where Juggernaut feels like he's. When the other guys have bigger swords than you, what can you say? But you are having remember the AoE potential, the damage potential, the physical carry potential of the Radiant team. They got the Howl, they got the Vengeful Spirit Horde, they got the Empower. They're cleaving, so on the same, they're competing a little bit fairly. With that said, though, Sven has an instant triple damage rune, not a double damage rune, a triple damage rune. That's pretty insane. That's pretty insane if you think about it. A big stack being taken here. It seems like the current metagame has been more and more about these ancient stacking, having the support constantly stacking up, and you can see why. Give you so much EXP, give you so much gold, and Fear is going to jump in terms of his EXP. I think Manta Style is going to be his next item of choice. I'm not sure if Manta Style is really the best item. I mean, sure, the Dire team's not really packing AoE, but they have enough. They have Vacuum, they have Wrath of Nature, they have Pulse Nova. They can easily distinguish who is the real Juggernaut. It doesn't give you enough damage output or survivability to really warrant a 5,000 gold investment. But on the same token, what are you going to buy instead? You don't really want to rush a Butterfly outright because you don't have enough survivability. So it's just a very, very difficult time in terms of getting item. Personally, I would have gone for something like a Purge, a Diffusal Blade. Once Lotus, as the BKB charges, going down, you could just slow him down. Now, of course, if you're playing older version of Dota 1, you would know that Diffusal Blade will actually purge off God Strength from Sven. It doesn't do that anymore, but still, it's a huge slow against melee heroes. It's pretty decent. Although, with that said, there is still Surge on the team, so maybe you don't want to put all eggs in that one basket. So, whenever I'm playing Juggernaut, I always have difficulty in terms of buying items. Seems like all the items are fairly viable, but none of the items are good enough, and that's what it's feeling like for Fear situation right now. Yeah, man, sounds decent. It's just not that good, Here we go. Seems like we have a tier 2 being destroyed fairly easily, and the Dire team just want to push up on the high ground. Again, everybody's ultimate is up. Do we have Blink Dagger just up yet? No, no Blink Dagger here on Nigma. I do believe that is the correct choice. You want to leave the initiation up to Demon, and then you basically walk in with a reverse polarity. You want to make sure that you tank up as well. There's a lot of stuns and a lot of ways to cancel your Black Hole. Meanwhile, though, if you do BKB up in Black Hole, there is a 0 way to cancel your Black Hole. Meanwhile, also right now, what the Radiant team is doing is basically playing very, very passive aggressive. You know, we're talking about high school girl drama, and the reason they're playing passive aggressive, they want to poke forward just enough to make sure that the Dire team is defending that tier 2 tower mid, they're defending the tier 2 tower up, or tier 3 tower up, sorry. And they don't want to take this fight simply because Sven still does have that Aegis Immortal. Aegis is running out in just about 1 minute. So they gotta just turtle up a little bit more. Of course, you don't want to turtle right about here because you never know when a team fight is gonna break out. And if you do lose a team fight, you're losing multiple Raxes. Whereas if you're turtling very aggressively over here, well, you know, lose a team fight, maybe you'll lose a tier 2 at worst. And of course, you know, they're very, very far away from the base. They take time to push and whatnot. So it's a very decent way to play this game, recognizing the Dire team is still very, very powerful. Despite having access to Black Hole and Reverse Polarity, you don't want to underestimate this Aegis Immortal. Chicken is delivering a Crystallis, or Crystallis, depending on the pronunciation. And Loda is really putting up some big number right now. You can see that net worth is still very, very close, but of course the Dire team having a slight edge. And Dire team, this game, I've been making these predictions, and these predictions have just been kind of off. I predicted NoTidehunter with Leshrac and, of course, Nature's Prophet, as well as Darkseer. They're going to be knocking down a lot of early game towers. It was EG that was knocking down a lot of early game towers. I predicted that EG is going to have a powerful mid game because of Reverse Polarity and Black Hole, but seems like Loda, with that one team fight that they won on the bot lane and securing themselves the Aegis Immortal, it took a lot of goal in that team fight, and now they are ahead. These teams are trying to trade towers, although Demon, Demon, gotta be somewhat careful. Demon's going to port out. No stuns are canceling that one. Meanwhile, though, we do see Nature's Prophet defending the tier 2, and he could defend the tier 2 on the bot lane as well. He could always teleport in, and that's one of the best thing about having Nature's Prophet on your team. You could just defend on one lane and keep on pushing on the other lane here. Wrath of Nature does a beautiful job in doing so. You can see that he's not using the Wrath of Nature on cooldown, perhaps waiting for a team fight to start out. Really, Wrath of Nature does do a lot of damage in team fight. Although with that said, he's also not using it in Mighty Stone. Amber Bulldog might be forgetting. No, he did use it here and trying to de-ward these wards. Although the Necro books have timed out. This has been a very, very tame game, 4-12 here in the favor of Dire team. Hasn't had too many kills, and we're still, of course, remembering that crazy bait action of Amber Bulldog suiciding the Roshan. And basically, of course, he also, don't forget, he also dropped the Observer ward over here, which basically saw the EG team going into this spot. And that was, you know, you fell into my trap card. Very, very nicely trap laid out by Eternal Envy and his team. And we're back to the farm train. Roshan Aegis has ran out. About 2 minutes in for the next Roshan. We're seeing a lot more pulling, a lot more de-warding, making sure that no war is here to stop the pull. And again, when it's about farming, ancient farming is as best as you can get. You know, each creep giving at least 60, 70 gold, and these creeps give you over hundreds. That's where you want to be. Lola farming that one very easily. Looks like we have another big item finished. That is a armlet being finished. We've been seeing more and more armlet on Sven's. We saw it last particular game, although it didn't really work out as the team with the Sven did actually lose. But armlet, if you think about it, gives you plus 65 raw. That's a lot of damage already. You also gotta keep in mind that plus 25 strength when you activate it works very, very nicely. The bonus 200%. Works from strength, so that 25 translate into what? Times 4? Is that 4 extra? 2, 4, yeah. 25 times 4. That's another 100 extra 100 damage. That's a lot of damage. I'm not a math major or anything. I am a math major, by the way. You're looking roughly at 160 damage. Does that sound right? That sounds way too insane. But I believe it. Here, let's quickly do the math. When you activate it, you get plus 65. There is plus 25 strength. We don't want to double count the plus 25 strength, but a double time the 25 strength gives you 200%. So that's 75, not counting the plus 25 in the first place. Roughly 130, roughly 140. Somebody correct me on that. I'm sure somebody out there is gonna be like, "Oh, Luminous, you're wrong. I don't know why you're a math teacher, but you can't do mental math." My mental math is sucky. But what I'm trying to say is, if you do activate everything properly, and then you pop God Strength, that armor is giving you extra plus 130. I think. That's insane. For an item that's only cost you, what, 2,600 gold? That's crazy. Crazy indeed. Right, No Tide, basically what they're trying to do right now is push enough so that they're making sure all the equilibrium is on the enemy side of the map so they can secure themselves the Roshan advantage that's going to be coming very soon. And when you have heroes like Nature's Prophet, that's a very, very easy thing to do. Of course, Nature's Prophet's ultimate pushes every single wave, and if a wave is insufficiently pushed by the ultimate, he would teleport in and go to town. Although he is holding on that Nature's Prophet ultimate, like I pointed out, it does do a lot of AoE damage in team fight. And it seems like that's really what they want to put their attention on to. They cannot lose a team fight. Whichever team that loses a team fight right now is flat out losing the game. Sure, both team has their tier 2 up, but when you are dealing a lot of damage with Empower, with tier and whatnot, and Vengeful Aura, that tier 2 tower as well as the racks will be going down very, very quickly. And similarly, on the other side, Sven will be bringing down your tower with relative ease. And Roshan is going to get seen upon it as the Dire, retaining the Roshan advantage, has enough wards and illusion scoping things out, and of course, obviously, enough damage output to bring down Roshan very, very quickly. And the question is, are they going to push with this Roshan advantage? I think you should. I mean, I really think you should. And the cool thing about having Aegis against things like Reverse Polarity and Black Hole is that you could, those ultimates are just one shot. If you could bait out that one shot ultimate and you respawn back, yeah, the game becomes a lot easier after that. Here we got another pause by Demon. Of course, we are casting on the replay, so we could quickly go through that. Looks like we are lagging a little bit for Demon. If you look at the network here, still a very, very healthy lead here for the Dire team. Are we pausing? No more lag, but a 7,500 gold lead here for the Dire team, and a good time here to look at item as well. Big item pickup here. We do have Necro 3 already finished on Amber Bulldog, having the Hand of Midas being extremely helpful. You gotta keep in mind though, he hasn't been using the ultimate, so it's just really just teleporting around, right-clicking creeps. Of course, Sven's got a sweet set of items, just really increasing his damage output. Force Staff being picked up here by Eternal Envy. Again, Force Staff very, very good, pushing your teammates away from those reverse polarity. It doesn't push out a Black Hole anymore, very shamefully, but still very, very good against reverse. Very, very easy free tower being picked up on Loda. Again, you don't really want to jump on him considering the fact that he does have that Aegis Immortal. And that's Sven. Ooh, looks like we're going to see a surge backwards here. They want to pick off a Juggernaut. Juggernaut could easily TP. Yeah, spin TP. Nothing you could really do about it. Yeah, very good recognition of the situation here for the first pick. Seems like they want to push on the bot lane here. The bot, a little bit easier to push as there's a little bit less angle of approach. Although with that said, the choke is similarly very constricted, and you want to actually go on the high ground. So there's a glyph being forced out right now. Loda toggling on and off, making sure that it's not draining too much of HP. And here we go. Aleph is starting to slow down Loda just a little bit, but Loda again doesn't really care too much. He's going to swipe down this creep wave with relative ease and regain a lot of his EXP, HP in doing so. Cleave, yep. Look at that cleave crit. Doing so. Again, you gotta be very, very careful if you're evil geniuses, because a single vacuum into a Stormhammer with God Strength and Cleave, you could all go down very quickly. But it seems like the Dire team is backing off. I wonder why. I'm not too sure why. Because they still retain the Aegis advantage. Perhaps they're backing off because Wrath of Nature is down. I don't think that's it, right? It can't be that you're down a single Wrath of Nature is older. Again, it does do a lot of damage. And we'll see if once that Wrath of Nature is back up, they will start resuming that push. They're really valuing the Wrath of Nature a lot. Perhaps they're waiting for they're waiting for Nature's Prophet to pick up the Hex Stick. No, they just want to make sure that these two creep wave are pushed out sufficiently. And here we go. They're gonna sustain their push once again. They do have still the Aegis Immortal does have a lot of time. That in just in about 3-4 minutes, it's gonna time out. But they're having a tough time pushing up the ramp. They gotta continuously respect that reverse polarity as well as that Black Hole combo. Enigma does not have the Blink Dagger does have the BKB. Nice EMP Tornado draining a lot of Sven's mana, and that's gonna take him away from the God Strength as well as the Stormhammer. Quick mech bringing him back up, although he's losing HP very, very rapidly, and that's gonna at least make his the first life of Sven not exactly too effective. There's no urns up. There's a mech being used, but yeah, there's no urn up here, no tide. And that push, again, being defended. EMP Tornado just simply too good. Not the fact that it does a lot of damage, but draining a lot of mana from Sven, forcing the early mech, forcing the early pipe, and forcing the early arcane boots. And there's no way that NoTidehunter is going to fight without a mech to go. So they're gonna wait another minute or so before pushing. Again, my time is my eyes on that is kept on that Aegis Immortal. It's draining and draining. They're gonna try it one more time. Demon's gotta port back. He is going for a refresh orb. Gonna go a double reverse polarity. Why go for one single reverse when you could go for double? Why not? Yeah, BKB's finished, and that's the full extent of those big items. No Mantis out here for Juggernaut. Has picked up a Eagle Song. EMP Tornado is gonna drain a lot of these guys' mana, but they don't really care. There's a Deafening Blast. There's a teleport right in here. S4 taking some big damage and skewer backwards here. If you can get a kill against S4, that's huge vacuum, and he is gonna survive. Of course, they had defensive disruption if they needed it, but again, a lot of mana and health being drained from these two guys. They gotta port back, and that's another push that's being defended. EG holding on their high ground despite the score being 4-12. I've been told that this is a very, very exciting game. Aside from that level 1 kind of crazy bait by Eternal, by the Emerald Bulldog, haven't seen too much excitement as we have 16 kills in 32 minutes. Every 2-minute 1 kill. Yes, I can do that mental math as Emerald Bulldog is teleporting back. I mean, as this game go longer and longer, Juggernaut's carrying potential is really starting to taper off. They're relying a lot more on those reverse polarity and black hole, which is a fine thing to rely on, but that means if Milk ever whiffs one, if Demon ever whiffs this one, you're basically dead, because you know, right clicks from Sven is always going to be good. Prophet's starting to carry very big time as he does have gold for his Hex Stick, although he's going to be saving for buyback, teleportation, and EMP Tornado again trying to slow down this push. Loda says, I don't care, I will just focus down on this push here. Big cleave here. Loda's going to use his Aegis as it's going to time out anyways. Oh, big crit. It's going to drain a lot of his mana back. BKB being forced to pop out here. Milk is going to right click, and that's going to be a one-man black hole against the Aegis. Emerald Bulldog walks right and defensively disruptive. Where is Demon? Demon's going to come right here. Blink, reverse. That's going to grab on 3. There's a refresh, and there's going to skewer backwards here. Where's another second reverse? He gets crit down. He dies in one hit here, and Loda still full HP right now. They're chasing right, and I do believe this is wrong choice. Just focuses on the Rex. Where's a buyback? No buyback here coming out from the Magnus. There's a buyback from Emerald Bulldog. They want to swipe down on these glyph. There's no need to fear Milk anymore. Milk is just a walking Malphus, walking Sun. Beatus gets sprout out right now. Focus on the Rex for the love of God here. Loga gets a little bit focused down. He's fine. That Iron Shell as well as right click's gonna bring him nice defensively disruption. Dodge a big spell, and that's gonna be the bot lane Rex here, and everybody is gonna be backing up. They traded a buyback here, and for a full lane of Rex, you'll take that trade any day. Emerald Bulldog now starting to recuperate his gold a little bit. Of course, we'll have his Hex Stick finish relatively soon, in fact. So very, very good push, and I like the play where Loda just kind of walked in and tanked everything up. He noticed, he realized that his Aegis is going to be timing out very, very soon, so might as well use it. Just basically tank an EMP Tornado, tank a couple of power shots, tank a Magic Missile, and he just went straight for Milk and really forced Milk's hand. Milk already popped his BKB and basically forced to pop his black hole as well. And again, remember what I said, when you are going to this late game situation, when your late game carry is, in my opinion, not as good as Sven, not as good as, you know, the Nature's Prophet, you're really relying heavily, very, very heavily on the black hole. You're relying heavily on your AoE ultimate, and I do believe if Demon got his double reverse polarity, that teamfight would have won a little bit differently, but he didn't. You know, the big crit just killed Demon outright, and I'm sure Demon was not expecting that. So a big win here for NoTidehunter. Again, in that team fight, it was a one for one, or actually, yeah, 4 to 14 was the score. Was that 2 to 14? Whatever the score was, there wasn't a lot of exchange in terms of kill. I think 2 to 14 is more correct. Yeah, 2 to 14. There was a couple buyback here and there, but you know, nothing too much to write home about. And here we go. Dire says, yeah, you know, this is a big event. This is the final of Dreamhack. We are facing elimination. We are in a beautiful spot right now. So instead of just, you know, pushing down the mid lane to, again, seize their advantage, we're going to just seize the safety advantage and just go for Roshan. Because why not? Roshan is going to be up in just a couple of minutes. They could, you know, keep basically aggressively turtling, making sure that these guys never push out. And again, trying to make sure, you know, keep getting pickoffs. No really real reason to see the net worth as the Dire team is very, very far off. They want to just smoke into the base right now. Ooh, perhaps they would have noticed these guys. probably using this to bait. If they pick off Milk right now, Milk's being seen on the high ground. Purge, they're gonna force stab him backwards here and go for the very easy kill. The reason that the Shadow Demon did not, great move here. We do see Emerald Bulldog being picked off here. There's a glyph being forced out here, and that's gonna be drawing everybody back. The reason that Eternal Envy did not start off that team fight, start off that pick off against Milk with disruption, is that Milk does have a Black King bar. If you disrupt him first, he will just pop the BKB out of disruption and make himself a lot more difficult to kill. Loda pops his BKB, reverse polarity will find one. There's a skewer backward. Where's the? There you go. No, there's a disruption already being used that's gonna save at least Eternal Envy, and now Loda still very tanky. Oh, Demon still pops a smoke in the scene against the illusions of the wall. What a play! What a play. Meanwhile, though, we do see Juggernaut picking off Leshrac, so that is going to defend the tower. Both teams have expended a lot of their resources in terms of cooldown, in terms of ultimate. BKB has been down, and there's not much they could do. They're going to heal up right now and make sure to take off the next Roshan. They have successfully defended this, but again, reverse polarity has been used twice. You can see that even with 2 reverse polarities, they just don't have enough damage output. You are relying on a EMP Tornado Invoker or a Wex Quas Invoker, which doesn't do a lot of damage. You're relying very heavily on Juggernaut, which, by the way, still have 4 drum charges. I think that's wrong. Unless you rebot it, you really got to use those drum charges to run, or just at least get increased attack speed or whatnot. Eternal Envy on the mid lane here, just chilling, relaxing, shooting some b-ball after school. When a couple of guys trying to rough you up, you back off. Also, Demon has been very greedy in terms of trying to get the perfect chain stun with the reverse polarity, but both times, a couple spells were being able to cast through in between those reverse polarities. Remember the first reverse polarity over here? He got picked off by the Sven Sword, just 1 hit, and the second reverse polarity, Eternal Envy was able to disrupt himself, so to save his life. So I think I like his way of thinking. You gotta get the perfect 8-second chain stun to win the team fight, but I think 6-second chain stun, or maybe 7-second chain stun is already good enough. Just go for the safe stun and go for the safe double kill, and and work from there. And they gotta really challenge Roshan, but really too little too late, as NoTidehunter picks that one up for free, and it's basically on full retreat. Loda now with the Aegis, somebody's got the cheese. I think S4. No, S4 does not have cheese. Emerald Bulldog, no, not him either. It is actually Leshrac. Leshrac picking up cheese here. We just see the teleport for Emerald Bulldog in a very awkward position. He did have to Snipe Advice if he teleported in a little bit better position. Probably could have gone for a pickoff, but now they got to deal with this big creep wave, so somebody's going to TP back, push creep wave forward, and they're now going to start a slow siege on this tier 2. And this slow siege will start to commence with Aegis Immortal up on Sven. In fact, even if Aegis Immortal gets used, they could probably continue slow siege, give them cheese back to Sven, and keep on pushing. But for now, Emerald Bulldog working on the top here. Obviously, could always teleport in. You just want to make sure he gets enough farm as possible. No time to, again, taking your time. And to be honest, they can. They have the better late game. And Juggernaut, he is somewhat dangerous, but really he doesn't have the inventory to really compete against the Sven. You can see, I mean, just toe to toe. There's a Yasha, Butterfly, Drums. That's it. Compared to a Daedalus, So Curious, Armlet, Black King Bar. That's insane. Now, obviously, again, there's Empower, there's Vengeful Aura, there's Terror, but really, those are kind of the insufficient to really compete on the same level. Good time to take a water break, as there is just farming going on. Good to know that the illusions do not cleave, which I should have known that, as illusions do not cleave off your battle fury or not. I thought it would be a little bit different because there's a cleave on a skill on a hero. But in any case, it looks like we're gonna see a push going on finally. They have got all the big items. Shiva's Pipe, Megas up. Man, if you get a kill on S4 before he pops Air Needed. Oh, there we go. Skewer backwards. That's only one. It's got to be a perfect chain stun. No reverse Oh no, yeah, they are gonna pick up the Aegis Immortal. Great defense of the disruption being used right now, and you can see that demon just waiting for that blink dagger cooldown. Eternal Envy taking a lot of damage. Tower has brought down here. Loda has popped his ultimate here. If you could kill him right now just once, that would be enough, because he does not, Aegis does not bring him back. Reverse polarity on one, gotta reverse a second. Well, where's the skewer backwards? No reverse, and Loda going to work right now. Loda doing so much damage. Pops the cheese. Somebody handed off to him. That was Aki doing perfect team play here. They just need to brought him down once. They were not able to. No, they took away the Aegis at the very least, but that Aegis, it was just not enough. Admiral Bulldog got to be somewhat careful. Walking into a fountain, very low HP. The spin's gonna get one kill, not gonna get a second kill. Gem has been dropping. Looks like these guys are going for the Juggernaut. Well, you're not Juggernaut as in the hero, but Juggernaut as the Vayne. You are going for the win right now. Oh, here we go. Tao's gonna get brought down. No G's been called right now. They're trying to defend for their lives, but it's not gonna be it. GG's gonna go by Demon. And as convincing of a victory was game 1 for EG, game 2 a slower, but it's likely a very convincing victory for NoTidehunter as well. So one game will decide it all in Dreamhack Grand Final. Game number 3 is gonna be epic. I hopefully you enjoy game number 2. We saw some big baits, we saw some big carries, and Sven winning a big game here for the team. So well played for NoTidehunter, and we're gonna go into game number 3. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this particular game. Again, let me know what you guys think about Sven as a hero. Is he broken? Is he overpowered? Or is he just right? Let me know what games you guys want me to cast of Dreamhack as well. I'm looking forward to cast more as well. Also, EG and Navi is being cast by B-Balling from Dreamhack. Though that's a great best of 3 series. I recommend you go to his YouTube channel and check that one out. But that's it for game number 2. Game number 3 will be uploaded in a day or so in time. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Wow. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this particular game. And until next time, this is Luminous stuttering and signing off to you guys.